What is going on, Alpha Hunters? Hope everybody is having a magnificent Monday. It is marvelous weather Monday. I can tell you that. It feels so good outside here in San Antonio, Texas. But let's see what's going on with the market. Very nice bullish action seen today. Had a very strong gap up today, and we gapped up. How much did we gap up actually? About a half a percent. About half a percent. About 0.53% there. And didn't really do too much in that first 30 minutes, but then about the next hour after that, we just kind of had a nice little rip up to the daily high, man. And that's the daily high we've been in. A little bit of a pullback, a little bit of sideways action. Had a nice drop here within the past hour. It was very quick. Go to a 1 minute. You can see how quick it was, just rapid. Just kind of come back down. Basically, just checked in really to the top range of this morning's kind of sideways action here, and then kind of bouncing, making our way kind of back towards the daily highs. I would expect us to be at this level higher by close today. I don't really expect any kind of major selling, and a big reason why, if we look at a 15-minute chart, well, the SPY is actually above Friday's high. The Qs, on the other hand, have not taken out Friday's high, so they definitely haven't even gotten to Thursday's high. So what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow, and I'd imagine it probably does happen tomorrow, is the SPY get very slightly above today's high and take out Thursday's high, because I mean it's not much of a difference. I mean, we got 0.05% away from taking out last week's high on Thursday's high. They're on the SPY. And if that happens early tomorrow, like if we just, kind of like any of these mornings where you just get a quick run up, take out that high, that would be very interesting. Look, the other thing that would be very interesting to see is if when the SPY probably does do that, does it come all the way up to this low that we had at around 438.50? We'll call it 50. 438.40, somewhere in there, to kind of fill this gap. And if that does happen very quickly tomorrow, be curious to see where the Qs are at. And if the Qs are not making a new high or taking out Thursday's high, I would be, that would be something I'd probably be bearish on. That would be what I'd be bearish on. Anyways, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. We'll see how this hour turns out, but I don't expect anything crazy. I don't expect anything crazy bearish, especially. And you know what? Now that I'm saying that, it probably just goes crazy bearish. Probably not, but it happens. Anyways, let's take a look around the market, because there are some things that are moving pretty good. So SPY up pretty good. Qs are up 1.16% right now. It looks good until maybe it pushes higher a little bit tomorrow. But if that SPY takes out last week's high, it sets up that the Qs reverse for the second half of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll have to watch out for that. IWM, very nice gap up. Yeah, IWM got absolutely hit hard Thursday, Friday. So nice gap up. IWM up 1.7%. Had a gap up today of about 0.9%. Okay. Basically coming into the 10 daily EMA right there. Okay. The DIA has taken out last week's high, just 0 F's given. Kind of like this actually, getting right into the bottom of this level right here already. Didn't quite do it last week. Almost did it on Friday. But I like this little interaction here. So probably does it again tomorrow as the SPY probably pushes higher. Maybe the DIA would maybe even be more aggressive if that was to happen. Maybe it gets up to this level, but not a bad spot to start to go bearish on the DIA. RSP, the equal weight SP 500, up 1.33%, actually outpacing the Qs. So financials are probably lagging behind today because the RSP and the Qs are actually outpacing the SPY. So when we look at sector rotation, I'd imagine the financials are probably lagging behind. So we'll just have to take a look at that. Let me see. Well, financials actually don't look too bad. So what else is a major? All right, I don't know. It's pretty scattered out there today. We'll have to look at sector rotation, get an idea. So here's going to be the area that's really kind of interesting. So transport's looking okay, but VIX had a very strong move on Friday. But the really big one, dollar not doing a whole lot, actually pulling back a little bit. And take a look here, intraday. This is when that market rip happened this morning on the SPY. But the really interesting one is going to be yields. Gold pulling back a little bit. Yields are up about 2%. They're looking really good and looking like they're going to continue, probably just to continue to push higher, but yet the market's up. All right. Okay. To me that's just, I don't know. I like if we just push up again on yields here over the next 2 days, we just continue to push higher. It's going to be really difficult for the market to continue to go higher. But I can also see the market getting hit very, very hard the second half of the week if yields continue to go higher. So that's what I'm looking at. So yeah, how strong yields are looking really good. 10-2 inversion, very nice, very good rip at the end of September, beginning of October. Nice pullback kind of last week. Nice start to the week there, and it's mostly because the 10-year yield's doing pretty good. Let's check the 2-year yield. 2-year yield's up, just not up as much as the 10-year yield. So, yeah, if we have a strong week on the yields, I think a lot of people are going to be really regretting that they bought the dip. HYG, high yield corporate bonds dropping, LQD, yep, dropping, makes sense. All that makes sense with yields moving higher. TLT, 20-year Treasury ETF, dropping today. Is long dated yields performing better? They are. This is starting to be more and more of a problem. So 30-year Treasury up 2.4%, up a little bit more than the 10-year yield. Let's see what the 20 years at. 20 years up 2.3%. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, yields are looking pretty strong today. So I was really kind of surprised to see the market this bullish, but I think the market just wants to do kind of what we were talking about at the end of last week, and even on the market outlook I put out Saturday morning, is just kind of come fill this gap. And I'm not saying the SPY has to fill this gap, but even if it just breaks last week's high, basically Thursday's high, which was 437.34, and right now the Qs aren't even close to Thursday's high. So that sets up really, really nice to see that switch happen across 2 weeks. All right, I'm going to take a look at sector rotation. I'm very interested to see just what is going on here. What is underperforming? Is it energies? Yeah, okay, so it's energies. All right, so energies underperforming. You can see a lot of the market just kind of moving very much together. Everything's up pretty good. So energy is actually underperforming pretty good. Healthcare makes sense. They didn't seem extremely bullish. Industrials, financials, tech actually underperforming there. Tech. Okay. Real estate, a little bit of outperformance there on real estate. Staples, materials, utilities. Okay. Communications and discretionaries are definitely leading the way. You see discretionaries really outperforming there. If we take out the gap, take out the 0.5% gap up that we had today, so you can see industrials are not getting as much of that intraday action. Definitely discretionaries, communications, and utilities. All three that are bullish. All three sectors that are bullish are outperforming the market. Then you got materials, financials, energies, healthcare, then just staples, real estate, and tech underperforming as well. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's go see here. Spy. I want to run through these sectors. Yeah, I want to run through the sectors first, then we'll go look at individual stocks. So, real estate's looking pretty good. Real estate's looking pretty good, which is very interesting since yields have moved higher, especially the long dated ones have moved higher more than the short dated ones. Materials looking pretty good, up 1.25%. Definitely basing out here a little bit. Definitely didn't get as much of that rally over the kind of previous week and a half, I guess. Okay. Industrials did get some of that rally. Industrials have much more of an upper wick on the day. Okay. Financials. Tough spot here for financials just because it's coming into this retest. This bottom right here. That's a tough one. I mean, I couldn't blame you for trying to take that bearish. Energies. Yeah, energies to start off this October got smacked pretty good. They're coming back kind of strong. A lot of the bullish action had a lot to do with this gap up that we saw last Monday because the whole Middle East conflict. So, all right. Let's take a look at energy, commodities as well. Utilities, man, I'm telling you, dude, that sell off that happened in late September, that was a buying opportunity on utilities. So good. Healthcare, go a little bit longer term. I know healthcare has been choppy for a while. I mean, I would just continue to buy it. I don't. I mean, healthcare is what it is. People just can. I mean, governments and every government agency or government organization, they support healthcare. So I don't see healthcare getting less funds, from people. So yeah, healthcare probably going to be safe. Staples was a shocking one the second half of September. And I know that there was an article out last week saying, "Oh, Staples are still overvalued." And I'm like, dude, you're freaking smoking crack, man. I would absolutely be buying every bit into that. I did not think that Staples was going to get wrecked over that 3 weeks like they did. That was nuts. They came all the way down, took out this low. I know we were talking about this over the past couple of weeks, but yeah, you should just be buying this up. Looks really good. They actually came down. They got really close to hitting this pre-COVID high. But I mean, I like it, man. I like it. I like it a lot. Healthcare. Not healthcare, sorry. Consumer discretionary. Yeah, that looks so aggressive. So we're gonna take a look at Tesla and Amazon because man, like over the past 30, 40 minutes, I mean, this thing is just ripped higher. XLC Communications, which houses Alphabet and Meta, looking really good. I mean, that thing has just trended higher the whole day. Nice. That looks really, really good. This one's tough, in my opinion. I wouldn't be bullish on Meta, and I wouldn't be bearish on Alphabet. So that's what makes that's what makes the XLC really tough right now. I'm just not a fan of Meta, not a fan of Zuck, but Alphabet didn't get bought up the first half of the year like most of the other big tech stocks. XLC didn't gap up all that much today. Interesting. All right. XLC gapped up like 0.2%. Not much there on the XLC, but I mean it's up 1%. Definitely underperforming the market, but yeah. Okay. That could be another one to kind of keep an eye on. XLK, the technology ETF. Not doing like it's having an okay day, but it's lagging behind. So it's like whenever tech starts to lag behind, that's when you're seeing that rotation. Okay. All right. Let's go check these guys out. APL gap down. I don't know what the deal was here. I was kind of trying to look for some things, but I didn't really see much of anything. Let me see if there's any news. Usually, if one of these big tech companies has some important news, like we'll see it, but I wasn't really seeing anything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything really there. So, not Apple likely to log inline fourth quarter issue below seasonal December quarter guidance. Morgan Stanley said, "Whoa, that might. I mean, this might be it. Issue this Morgan Stanley says thing. Issue below seasonal December quarter guidance." Apple's fiscal Q4 results will be in line with expectations, but softer Q1's guidance likely. Okay, that's basically Morgan Stanley's what Morgan Stanley's saying. So it sounds like, in my opinion, it would be like the Morgan Stanley expecting softer guidance going forward from Apple at their earnings. So okay, yeah, that would cause the stock to be underperforming for the day. Microsoft taking out last week's highs already, easily today, up 1.88%. Okay, nice gap up there on Microsoft. Okay, there we go. Alphabet, nice gap up. Has not been running as strong bullish. Okay, like the XLC was kind of indicating. So we get to looking at Meta here in just a second. I imagine that thing's probably been running pretty good. Okay. Yeah, Alphabet, not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. Well, Meta not really either. I don't know. Actually dropped there in the first 20 minutes. I mean, it has been trending higher pretty good throughout the day, but I don't know, not nearly like not like this. So curious. Check the other AT&T, Verizon. That might be mostly Verizon. Okay. Yeah, look at that move on Verizon. Wow. Intraday up 1.8%, but yeah, Verizon looking pretty good there. T-Mobile US. T-Mobile US, it's up. It's up all right, but Verizon, that's where the intraday for XLC is coming from. It looks pretty good. That and Meta. Meta's just not to me just not as aggressive. Okay. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon over the past 40 minutes looking pretty good there. Amazon. All right. And everybody's favorite Tesla. Tesla up 1.3%. Wow. Yeah, look at that move over the past 40 minutes. Man. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Up 1.6%. And it's kind of funny. Like Tesla wasn't really doing much. It wasn't really doing much. Gap down. It started out the day negative, and it's just it's been negative like 3-4 times throughout the day here. Kind of not really doing a whole lot, but this past 40 minutes it went from negative to now it's up 1.2%. And they are going to have earnings Wednesday, I believe, after the bell. Yep, Wednesday after the bell. Okay. Crude oil. Check crude. So yeah, crude ripped pretty hard on Friday. There was a lot of things moving kind of good there on Friday. You had gold was up pretty good. You had crude was up pretty good, and you had the VIX up pretty good. And I would say a lot of those moves were kind of outsized for other kind of relationships that you would normally see. And a lot of that might have just been fear positioning going into the weekend, but not really too much going on here on crude oil. So if not much happens there in the Middle East, then you're probably going to see a lot of that movement that we saw on Friday kind of unwind throughout this week. Gasoline. Okay. Heating oil. Whoa. Hold up. There we go. I was like, that doesn't look right. There we go. Heating oil, which is basically your diesel and jet fuel. Yeah, it's pulling back a little bit today. Also had a pretty good rip there on Friday. Okay. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to look at. But let me bring up on the side screen here. So Snap shares jump as leaked 2024 user target. As leaked 2024 user target exceeds Wall Street's expectations. Okay, so Snap is making a comeback. I gotta re-download the app, man. Okay, so stocks rally to kick off big earnings week. Yes, they do. All right, this is what I was looking for. Load. Thank you. I'll check Charles Schwab. Not much went on this morning. I didn't think there was. We'll check in on this throughout the week. Charles Schwab, how'd they do on earnings? Gap down. Got bought up. They missed on revenue. That's really more flat than anything else. That's nothing crazy. They beat on bottom line, though. Beat on bottom line by about 4%. It's interesting there with Schwab. How's KBE doing? How's the KRE doing? Okay. I don't know, man. We might see these bank ETFs roll over here over the next few weeks. What else? What else we got this week? Bank of America tomorrow morning. Nothing important today after the bell. Lockheed Martin, Goldman Sachs. That'll be a big one. Goldman Sachs, Johnson & Johnson, Albertsons. Then we got JB Hunt tomorrow after the bell. That's always a sleeper big one. Let me see. JP Morgan. I want to see what JP Morgan's been doing since their earnings. So they had a pretty large wick there on Friday. Okay. But nice gap up. They have come down from it. Yeah, nice gap up. Traded lower first 20 minutes, man. They're at the session lows. Not too many stocks look like that. Not too many stocks look like that today. JP Morgan, what was this other red one here? Citi? Citi. Citi as well. So are people just selling off financial stocks that have already gotten their earnings out of the way? Let me see here. All right, I guess I just need to run through a few. Bank of America tomorrow. Wells Fargo. Well, not necessarily, because Wells Fargo gapped up, but it's not like they held. The first 15 minutes was kind of strong, but they've come back down kind of towards the session lows. It doesn't look great, but they have a gap up more than anything else that is at least held. Okay. BlackRock. BlackRock's up. They had a gap down on earnings. Blackstone didn't have. They have not had earnings yet. Okay. Okay. Just trying to get an idea. So I don't know what's up with JP Morgan and Citi though. Like the only thing that seems kind of like the similar between these two is they've had earnings. They had earnings this past like Thursday, Friday, but there was a few other stocks, financial stocks, that also had earnings, but they weren't down. So I don't know what's going on. AbbVie. What's going on here? AbbVie. Nothing crazy yet. If you get a solid close below 146, that could be a problem there for AbbVie. Deer's up 2.5%. Honestly, I like this. This looks pretty good. It's kind of like a little inverse head and shoulders type action here. It's either that or this is an ascending wedge. Something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Or it's a flag pattern. And then it'll break down. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't see anything crazy on the news side for Deere. GE. GE's getting hit pretty good. GE's been one of the sleeper best performers of the year. It's kind of like there with Meta, just been crushing. Nobody talked about this one, but this thing's been cruising this year. It seems like the brakes got hit. I mean, look at that performance for the year. That's crazy. Started out 66. It's at 108. It's a pretty good year, man. It's a pretty good year. What is this? No, not that day. It's up 66% for the year right now. Pretty freaking good. It's a pretty freaking good year. All right, GE. DIS. Has Disney ever broken down? Oh man. Oh man. Dude. Dude. Did it ever break this low? Man, it got really close. It got really freaking close. Got a low here. This was the COVID low. 79.07. It did. 2 weeks ago, it broke that low. 78.73. Man, nasty. I'd still be bullish. I'd be bullish until we get a weekly closure below this low. If we get a weekly closure below 79, then I wouldn't be in it. Yeah. Looks good. Nike. I know Nike had a bad day or a week last week. Maybe I was thinking about late September. Jeez. Missed revenue. Beat on bottom line. But that's a hell of a day though. They're on Nike up 2.5%. See, Amazon. Not too much going on. UPS looking pretty good. CSX. Gonna have earnings this week. Throwing a nice little upper wick there. Be interesting. NSC. Earnings next week. Nice move there on NSC. Wow, Norfolk Southern. Jeez. UNP. Nice move there on UNP. Up 1.7%. Throwing a little bit of a upper wick there. Earnings this week. Okay. Yeah, Northrop Grumman, how are you doing? Man, Northrop Grumman had a hell of a week last week. Dude. Man, that was a strong week last week. There you go. That was FedEx. FedEx could just be retesting here. That was a pretty good breakdown there on Friday for FedEx. Could just be retesting into this 250 level, kind of like how it did today. Got the moving averages coming down. It'd be kind of tough going forward, but yeah, I don't know about FedEx. So JB Hunt, let's see what JB Hunt looks like. So they're gonna have earnings tomorrow after the bell. It's so interesting because, man, there's some freight issues out there. And if it's not here on the main page, then I'll just go to JB Hunt and see if it's there. Saw an article I was kind of looking for. Okay. JB Hunt. Okay. This is not. Did not show me what I was looking for. Old Dominion Freight Line. Old Dominion Freight Line. Strong first hour and a half of the trading day. Very strong day. But it is giving it back steadily. Yeah. I was looking for something. It's alright. Allie, what's going on? What do you mean with tomorrow top, then rug pull? Yeah, this is kind of, let's go and walk through that. So, we're getting really kind of close. So, I'll just go to a 15-minute here. It's easier to see it here. So, we had Friday's high right here. We very easily on the SPY, SP500, got above that. But we did not take out Thursday's high, which was the weekly high from last week. This Thursday high right here. So, what I would imagine probably happens, and the Qs haven't even taken out Friday's high. Like it's not even close to the high for last week yet. And typically that's what you look for. You look for the Qs to kind of change directions a little bit more aggressively than the SPY does. And then you'll see the SPY will continue push, make another high, but the Qs won't. Right? The Qs won't make a new high, and then that's like the Qs are now leading in that other direction. Typically, that's what you're looking for. So that'll probably happen tomorrow. I don't think it won't happen today because the SPY got really close. It was 0.05% away this morning. Yeah, 0.05% away, and it's currently how far from the high last week? About 0.3%. It's like that's nothing. Like it in the first 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes of a market trading day. I mean, the market can wake up and take that real easy. The other level I'd be watching for, but the Qs. Let me show this real quick. The Qs, on the other hand, they're 1%. They're 1% away from Thursday's high. So a little bit more of a need to see the Qs to make up that move than the Qs need to make up a lot more ground than the SPY does. Rotation out of tech, yeah, most likely. The other spot that would be very important to look at, to watch out for, is not just taking Thursday's high on the SPY, but possibly even making a run all the way up to 438.50 and filling this gap that we had back from September 20th. So anywhere in the whole 437.30 to 438.50 level, anywhere in there, man, that's going to be a pretty good bearish zone. And I would just keep an eye and make sure if the SPY gets above Thursday, and it looks like it might be trading up to this low, keep an eye on the Qs. Make sure the Qs don't take out the high from Thursday. That would be a big deal. Microsoft makes a new weekly. Yeah, Microsoft came out this morning and just didn't give a shit. It just had a crazy strong open. Yeah, really strong first hour. Gapped up. You think this gap will fill? I don't know if that SPY gap will fill. I don't. I think it's a strong possibility it does. I think it's a strong possibility it does. Just because, the market can get, like, if we gap up a little bit tomorrow, if we gap up like 0.15%, 0.2%, I mean, that's nothing. So, hold on. So, if we gap up maybe to today's high, if we gap up like 0.2%, we can very easily trade up another 0.5% or so very quickly in the first 15, 20 minutes tomorrow. And yeah, that happens very easily, very quickly when the market starts trading. Still for bad news from Israel. Jesus, I'm not gonna hope for bad news, but I don't think we need to see bad news from Israel. My opinion, yields are continuing to push higher. This is probably the more shocking thing is that yields are up over 2% on the day, and the market's up 1%. Okay, okay. So if yields come out and push higher again tomorrow, and they get back up over, let's say they get up to 4.8% tomorrow. I mean, people are gonna be flipping out. People will be flipping out. So yeah, I'm not gonna hope for bad news out of the Middle East, but man, that whole situation sucks. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm kind of thinking like tomorrow top, just because I don't see major bearishness kind of coming in today. And if we gap up tomorrow, so this would be a good situation to kind of talk about. So if we gap up tomorrow, right and right about there, that's where that. I'll just mark it real quick. Boom, right there. That works. So that's that gap fill spot right there. So let's say tomorrow morning, come out, we gap up a little bit. We just very quickly push up. We hit this, and we come back down. I would be curious to see what the Qs are doing. Because if the Qs gap up, but they start selling off, I would be very cautious on the market. I would be I would just go outright bearish if that was happening. I would just go outright bearish tomorrow morning. So that's what I would do. If the Qs gap up, the SPY gaps up, but the SPY runs, Qs start to sell off, or even if the Qs are just kind of flat and just drop off a little bit, and the SPY is making those highs and going and trying to fill that gap, trying to fill this gap around 438 or so, 438.50 or so. Yeah, I would just be bearish on it. It is obvious. Yep, it is obvious. Just because it's obvious doesn't mean it's a trick. I mean, it's just sometimes that happens. But that's why I'd say, like, watch out for this top. Watch out for this top at, whatever this level is, 437.40 or whatever. To me, that whole $1 area, $1, 1 point area, that would be the more significant. Where is from about there to about right there? Like that whole 1 point area, man, that's going to be a tough spot. A tough spot to be bullish. Even if we get a little bit over it, I wouldn't sweat it. I would just look at how is the SPY performing once we take out Thursday's high, and how the Q's performing. If the Q's aren't matching and aren't performing with the SPY's up, Q's are flat and downish or kind of trading down. Yeah, I would not be bullish. I would start picking up bearish positions. But that's just me. Other than that, and especially if the yields are higher. If yields are like flat or higher, I would absolutely do that. Ali, you said, do you think we will direct sell off after gap close? Ooh. I don't think it'll be like gap close reverse. I don't think it'll be that. Just because I don't ever plan for stuff like that. But I mean, we might come, fill the gap, might mess around with it a little bit, and then maybe we sell off, something like that. And that might be over like 30 minutes to an hour. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I never planned for like just an immediate reversal. That's very difficult to plan for because counter trending is very difficult. You need to see like the right things kind of match up for counter trending stuff to work. That's why I'm saying it's a SPY. If SPY breaks out above last week's high, up to 438.50, and the Qs are not, then I would start to pick up some bearish positions. Especially if the yields are up. If yields continue to push higher, that would also help benefit a bearish position. So, Alpha Hunters, what's your overall thinking? Will we make a new high next? Hold on. Will we make new high next week or down 4,000? No, I don't think we get down to 4,000. So that's a good question. Well, so there's a couple things about that. I don't think we get below 4,200 this week. 420. Did some market or did some options statistics, and there's a pretty large put wall. Actually, let's just go look at that. There's a pretty large put wall there at 420 for this Friday. And the option put walls after this Friday kind of get removed, honestly. Thank you. So for this Friday, the 20th, so you can see here, large put wall here at 420. So I think we probably will fill that gap tomorrow, and then we will start trading back down. We might break 420. I don't think we'll hold below it. If we do, it'll be barely on this Friday. I don't think it'd be crazy. Anyways, the next couple of Fridays, like looking at the 27th, the largest put spike out there is 400. Looking at, let's see, I'm not going to worry about the 30th. The third, the largest put wall out there is all the way down at 375. Let me get rid of this. 1110. Tesla, you want to look at Tesla? Give me a second. Let me run through these options on we can take a look at Tesla. Tesla was killing it earlier. This is this is a pretty good put wall, but there's not much open interest. There's only 12,000 open there. If you look at what's coming this Friday, I mean, we're talking about like 160,000. So that's not a big deal. And then November 17th, the next big monthly expiration, I mean, we're up to 400, the 400 level on the SPY, and there's about 175,000. So yeah, huge put wall drop off there going forward for the next few months. Once we get past this Friday, and then here even in December, nice little put wall here at about 114 or 110,000 contracts at the 400 level. So yeah, I mean, it's like the put wall drops, as we go into. As we get past this Friday. Just looking at January, February, weird spikes there. March, end of Q1. All right. I think we're still on pace to probably see us drop here after this week. Have a pretty good drop, maybe down to the 400 level. Probably move around there for a little while, and then for maybe a couple months, and then drop in Q1. Tesla, talking about Tesla. So Tesla wasn't really doing much throughout the day. Nice gap down. First 5 minutes was kind of strong, but it's been all over the place today. Mostly hovering around the zero line. It's been quite a bit positive, but this rip that it had from about 1:30 Eastern time to basically the top of this hour, it ripped. It ripped. They went from negative to up like 1.5% in about 40 minutes of trading. So yeah, Tesla's day was wrapped up right here. Very nice move there on Tesla. I'm not bullish on Tesla. I have no dog in this fight. I'm not bearish on Tesla, but I just don't have a bullish outlook. Yeah, that's just my take on Tesla. Not not one way or the other. I just I just don't like trading things that are wrapped up in fan bases, fanboyisms, and that kind of stuff. I just don't care for things like that. So, is put wall magnet? Allie, as far as the put wall as a magnet thing, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's a magnet. I don't. Let's go back to this. I don't think it's a magnet per se, but basically the theory is Wall Street doesn't want to pay out the highest number of contracts, basically. And so Wall Street doesn't want to see the market end, or the SPY in this case, because we're looking at the SPY end below 420 because it doesn't want to have to pay out all of these contracts. Like, that's kind of the theory behind it. Honestly, I can't disagree with that because Wall Street doesn't want to pay out. I mean, they want to collect money. So I mean, I understand the theory behind it. I mean, it makes sense, the theory behind it, but does that work all the time? No, because there's been times where we've actually ended below the highest spikes, or even higher than the call spike. Some of these call spikes, like this is the highest call spike, we're not going to end over 440. And we're 4 points away. We're not going to end over 440. I can promise you that. I mean, I can't say that for sure, but I mean, it's still. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's still like, I don't know. Just because the calls, I mean, that's still not a lot. Honestly, that's not that much. I mean, because look at all these puts that would. I mean, even if we did end up here on the week, like around 445 or so. I mean, look at all the puts that would be expired worthless. I mean, even this 440 put spike. I mean, it's not like they're not collecting quite a bit of a premium there. I mean, you're only having to pay out like 13,000 contracts basically, so that's not a big deal. But this one, like, look at, like, this is a massive difference, right? You got 168,000, 73,000, so it's about 95,000 contract difference, right? So you don't want to pay out an additional 95,000 contracts. I'd rather pay out the calls than the puts, right? So that's where you kind of get into like, oh yeah, that's a lot more contracts to pay out. So Wall Street doesn't want to pay out all of these guys. So, yeah, that's the theory. Not to say it's good or bad. I just like seeing the data, the analytical part of it, and you know, does it help? Sure, because I mean, when you see this, I could also say, okay, maybe the market does end at 419 for the week, but I can guarantee you one thing: it's not going to end at like 410 and have to pay out that much of a difference, right? Because here's the other thing: is you don't know what was sold, what these contracts sold for. If they sold for like $3 per contract on average, well, Wall Street would make money all the way down to 417. Right? If the market ended at 418, okay, I mean they'll pay out $2 per contract on all these 420s, but they get to keep a dollar, right? Because they sold it for $3, but they got to pay out down to 418, so they would keep $1 of the $3. Like, they'd be okay with that, right? right? I mean, that's just part of the option game. But they're not going to let it go crazy lower. Like what I would want to see, and I don't have the capabilities to do this data. I wish I did. Because I think this would be a fantastic way to look at options is to take the average of all puts sold and the strike prices and figure out what that average kind of marker is, and then take the same thing for the call side, the average call and the premium collected on all the calls sold, and see like where those lines are. Because if you can figure that out, that would be the money spot. Wall Street would not want the market to close outside of. The other thing is when we are actually in major market turmoil events like COVID, some market sell-offs that we had last year in 2022. We definitely broke the theory of this on normal market time periods. This would work. It kind of does hold up. It holds up. But when you have volatility in the market, like nothing, trust me, nothing. Analytics don't work. It's just because it's just pure emotion out there. So analytics don't really hold up. Other than that, Alpha Hunters, have a great rest of your day. Take care. Watch out for the SPY tomorrow morning if it's breaking higher, breaking above last week, and making its way up to like 438.50 area. And the Qs are not. The Qs cannot get above like Thursday's high. That's the switch you're kind of looking for. I would start to look to be bearish, especially if the yields are continuing to push higher. Alpha Hunters, have a great rest of your day. Take care. I'm going to go walk outside because it's so nice outside, and hopefully it is nice wherever you are. Take care. Have a good evening. All righty.